Welcome to Blank Pages, the podcast. It's a podcast for people who appreciate the new beginnings of a clean slate, but strive for the courage, willingness, curiosity, and creativity available only on the blank pages of new possibilities. It's the potential to move beyond and move forward where people are willing to make new decisions from fresh perspectives and are ready to write in a much better way. So the world is waiting and nothing listens better than a blank piece of paper. So hello, friends, and welcome to this latest episode of the podcast. I'm so glad that you are here and you are joining me today and loaning me a little bit of your time and attention. Man, we are wrapping up on the end of the year, and wow, it's been awesome. And I'm just so grateful for just another year. 2024 has been a great year. It's been a very interesting year, a very challenging year, but I must say it has been a great year. And for me, it's been a great year of learning and growing and improving, which is what I hope that each of us always experience, is opportunities to learn and grow. I mean, I'm so pumped up about what is coming and what's on the horizon. And so today's episode, I'm just going to do like a year in review. And this title is basically, because I have the idea, it's always that you're going to open the door and the future comes in. So every time you open the door, the future comes in. Every new day offers you an opportunity. Every time we wake up, tomorrow, right, is only going to use everything we do today. So the future is waiting for us. Tomorrow will be waiting for us. If we are given the opportunity to breathe air again and start another day, then everything today will be used tomorrow. And then we will hopefully learn and continue to grow and to improve. And there'll be some things we will need to let go of, things we'll need to get a hold of, things we need to do less of, things we need to maybe amplify and spend more time on. But regardless, that is the cycle of life. There are seasons, there are all these things that we go through. So it's very important to me to be able to reflect and to look back. So today's basically, hey, pucker up, because your future self is coming in. Pucker up and kiss your future hello, right? So that's basically what it is. Pucker up and get ready to kiss your future. But before we do that, I just, I want to say thank you for those of you who've been listening to the show and for giving your time, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Substack, Audible, Odyssey. So thank you so much for listening and for following the show. And for those of you who let me know, like, hey, this was great, or hey, I'm listening to this. I've had friends send me a screenshot who are on the road and they're listening, because these are bite-sized episodes. They're not too long, but you're able to listen, and you can listen to several back to back, and 20 to 30 minutes long. And man, you are going to have some things that are going to help you think. But I just really appreciate those of you who've done that. This is just something that I do as a gift. I believe in giving to people. This podcast is not one that I've tried to monetize. I don't look for monetization. And I've not even thought about it. Right. But what I do think about are the people who are listening, people who are saying, I'm in a life situation where I need change. I need transition. I need improvement. I need to grow. I need encouragement. I need inspiration. That's what this podcast is about. And it's always about starting fresh with a fresh idea and fresh look at things. And so thank you also. If you follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Tim Pecoraro, or on LinkedIn, Tim Pecoraro. In case you don't know how to spell my name, it's Tim and then Pecoraro, Pecoraro. That's simple. And on Instagram, if you go to my bio link, I just encourage you to go to my bio, and then inside there's a link where you can see all things and all the channels and things that I'm doing. But also pay attention to one, which I'll come back to later. It's for either the newsletter, which I would love for you to join, but I would love it if you would take a look at the Uphill community. And that is one of the big things that I'll be doing next year, which I'm so excited about. January 1 is the kickoff. And if you look at it and you decide that you want to become a part of it, it's not too late. You could even be 6 months into the year and it will not be too late. The big momentum builder is for starting the beginning of the year to really carry out through the year, but you can start anytime. It's kind of like anything that you need to change or work on in your life. You can start fitness, you can start finances, you can start, anything you can imagine, you can start anytime. It's never too late to get started. Okay. So on the bio link, you can check out the community that's being launched, but I'll come to that later on. All right. So what I want to do is just kind of go through to get ready, to kiss my future hello. I know that January 1, I will open the door. The future's coming in. And with that, though, again, I want to review and take a look at what's happened over the years. So what I'm going to do is in a nutshell, kind of tell you some of the things I've learned. And I've had some great highs and some great lows in 2024. And these aren't in any perfect order or anything. And I'm going to leave some things out that I'm not going to mention. And because, I'm very well connected with a lot of people, and I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anyone to be hurt. Right. And equally so, even on the successful good things, it's not my place to always talk about those things. And some of the things that I do with folks that I work with, those are things that I'm helping them to do. And it's their story to tell. It's not mine to tell. It's theirs to tell. And it's theirs to share with the world as how they're succeeding or growing. Okay. So I do it on both sides, for the good and the bad. There are certain things you just don't tell. So you can talk about, you just don't talk, you don't just get all the details because it's not appropriate, right? So here's what I'm going to do. Here we go, in a nutshell. All right. So I'm just going to go through these, and some I may rabbit trail a little bit. Well, not rabbit trail, but just kind of give you a little bit of insight on what that may mean, or what maybe a little bit more explaining the feeling or whatever the experience was for me. So here we go. Here are things that a year in review that I was able to experience, accomplish, or do. I had hundreds of hours in coaching individuals and teams this year in 2024, hundreds of hours. And minimum of 20 to sometimes 30 hours a week, but hundreds of hours. Okay. And it was so rewarding. I also did 20 plus team and organizational culture and people development workshops and experiences with organizations. Okay. So that's team and organizational culture and people development workshops and experiences. 20 plus of those that I did, some that were a day long, and then others that were multiple days within a month. It could have been a weekend, but I was able to really lean into those. Also, I was on the East and West Coast this year. What's weird is I didn't do much in the middle. It was straight up East Coast and West Coast, back and forth. And that was also with people development and training in these workshops and sessions. So I was able to go to both coasts and work with both coasts. And some organizations had people on both coasts working with their different time zones and doing teamwork with them as they're on opposite coasts, right? So it's not just remote work. It's living on opposite, sides of the country, working with them to create a dynamic team culture. And man, it has been so rewarding doing that. I am so honored and feel so blessed that the president of this company, the owner of this company, would say to me, who I met several years ago, and I've been working with and doing more and more of just watching this owner build this phenomenal brand that's an Inc. 500 company that I just think is just awesome, the way this leader loves his people. I've been able to do leadership and training at the European Union and French Embassy in DC. You want to talk about something awesome, is going in there when you see all those flags and just being in the space where people come and they're talking. These are world decisions, and I'm able to impact people at a leadership level and speak with them in their teams and how to work better and operate better together. Also this year, man, these are some of the hard things. I had several necessary endings that were desperately needed in my life. They were needed because without them, I wasn't going to grow. I wasn't going to grow in new ways, and the new ways that I needed to grow, and also to heal in other ways in my life. I needed those because some of those relationships were keeping me from healing, or they were keeping me from going to new things. Some of them they just needed to end, and not everything is forever, and they just needed to end. And sometimes we're a little stubborn when it comes to those things, and we don't know how to do that well, and we don't know how to do it gracefully at times. Sometimes we're really not good at it. And that's one of the things that I also learned, is how to get better at necessary endings. I did hundreds of hours. Here's another very, very hard thing. I did hundreds of hours investing in someone else's vision and someone else's and their experience, and to help them improve things that they were doing. And I also felt in that same investment, I felt the full might and weight of how easily, when you invest in someone's life, they can break and destroy trust. Just break it and destroy it after you've invested so much into them, into their life, and into what they're building and doing. I also learned how to, in that same process, just let them have what they wanted so much control over. Just let them have it. Let them take it. If they want to be insecure, let them have all of that. Give them the space to do that. Those are their choices. If they want to use you, let them have it. Because if you're not careful, those are going to be things that are going to cripple you in how you move forward. Do they hurt? Yes. But do you need to ruminate and meditate on it? No. Sometimes you need to let people have it, even if it means that you have been, crushed or stepped on to get there. Those things can happen. And, that's relationship. Relationship is risky. There's always that opportunity. Doesn't mean that you're bad at picking people. That's not always what that means. It means that people make their own decisions. I also learned to always choose, and this is huge. If you're listening, I learned, again, I always knew this, but I really learned it's always important, and it's always better, and it's always necessary, and it's always especially for me as a child of God, you choose to forgive, and you also choose to ask for forgiveness, regardless. You just do it. It will never steer you wrong. It is the higher principle. It makes no sense. I know too many people will say, well, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, again, when people are in that mindset, that's when you don't understand. You can either be right or you can be in relationship. So even when someone wants to forego a relationship and they choose to be right, or they choose to do whatever it is, still choose to forgive. Because the thing is when you don't forgive and you build bitterness and you build that up, it's the equivalent of you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's not good for you. It's unhealthy. Also, I made new connections. So through the process of going through those things, I made new connections that I never thought I would ever make. Meeting some people that I never would have a million years have crossed paths with, had some of these things not happened. So I made new connections that have inspired me to continue working on being better, or work on getting better at being human. And so I've been so inspired by some of these relationships that are just so unusual. And there are two men that come to mind that have really this year, just out of nowhere. And I'll have to do a podcast on these personality types, but there are two men that I would have never imagined in a million years. Both of them are 10 years plus my senior, that have really inspired me to grow. And I'm grateful for that. I got to experience this is an awesome thing, a full year of being a grandfather, being Papi to my little grandson and soon to be granddaughter who's coming. And so excited about that. such an honor. And maybe next year in the podcasts next year, I'll share some of what my life story is and how I never even thought in a million years I would even see grandkids in my life. I was able to officiate our middle son's wedding to his amazing bride in October. It was an amazing thing. And so many things happened that led up to it. And the hurricane that hit that disrupted so many things. And just to be able to see how a young couple was able to keep their wits about them and to stay grounded and to really offer their relationship to God to lead them and guide them. And that was very powerful to me. And so I was able to officiate that wedding and have our oldest son next to me, and then the middle son who's getting married, and then the grandson, and just seeing that, the men, and then also, our daughter right there, and just seeing the growth in what that looks like. Such a powerful picture for me. I built stronger connections with my family this year. And I've always been grateful for my family, but it got so much stronger from what I experienced. I built the stronger connections with my family, and I realized how much things in my life and in my relationships that they get better when I'm better. That the relationship changes for the better when I go first. There was so many times that I would say to my wife or to even a friend, I would be like, man, my relationship with my son or with my daughter, man, it just seems to get better. And what I'm noticing is they're not really doing anything different. And that's my light bulb moment, that most things in our lives would change if we change. So that's a little extra for you if you're following me on that and receive that vibe. I also was able to create a publishing company. That's what this podcast is on. This is just the podcast part of it. But I started a publishing company called Blank Pages, and that I plan to publish more books, many books on it that I'm going to author. And then also there are other people that I'm speaking with that are going to put their books on that platform and put those books out into the world on this publishing platform. And I'm so excited about that. And then on that, I published my first book on Blank Pages Publishing, and it was my first children's book, which I plan to write more of them. And the book is called Flit Learns to Fly, and it's available obviously on Amazon, and then on BookBaby. You can purchase it there on the shop, but you could also find that in my bio link if you're interested. It's a great book about a young bird who discovers his uniqueness and his ability as he learns to fly. And he does it in a community, learning from other people on their own uniquenesses and what they have to offer and what they do. I also, I've grown through and through this, how do I say this? I've experienced deep personal and spiritual transformation that's helped me to connect with God and with people in a much more profound and impactful and meaningful way or manner or ways. And so I've experienced deep growth and transformational growth. This year, I had to completely revamp my 2025 plan. Which ties to some of the necessary endings and some of the things that I experienced. But I had to completely revamp my 2025 plan, and it wasn't by choice, but it was because I believe God allowed someone, and this is important, friends. God allowed someone to do something so underhanded to me. But in that underhanded behavior and what they did, it closed the door, because here's the thing. I would not have done it. I would not have walked away. I would not have done this on my own, because I'm one of those people, when I'm committed to something and if I put in my time and my effort, I become hyper-focused and determined and persistent on something. And because of that, I was giving so much to this that I would have made something succeed, and it was already succeeding. It was working. And because of the care for the people, that made it the next level. It wasn't just the efforts and the know-how and the knowledge and the gifting. It was the people that were involved. And because of that, and because of how I get so focused, that focus creates blindness for me, friends. And I was blinded. And because of that, and being blind to the fact, I was not operating in my calling and purpose. But instead, I was almost making my calling and purpose like a redheaded stepchild. And I'm just using that term. Don't be offended by it. But that's a term that I know, right? Or for me, it's like, or the brown kid in the room full of white people. The brown kid who doesn't know who his dad is in a room full of white people who have their fathers with them, right? That's what I was doing. That's how I was treating it. And yeah, it was hard. And I was pushing my gifting and my calling aside. And if I would have continued to succeed in that area, it would have been a great detriment to what I believe is the calling on my life. I believe what it was for me, what I learned was it was his way of refocusing my vision and my work and my work and with the people that I was doing it with to be better aligned and to get back to people development with organizations and partnering with these companies and this has been with government and with commercial businesses that have hundreds and thousands of people that come to work all the time, and they're going back to their homes and they're in communities and they're hungry for change and transformation. And that is the space, that is the place that I need to be, and I need to be focused. And so to be there to help these people, and what I'm helping them to do is to discover and develop and maximize their potential. And so I do that all the time because I get to mentor some young folks. I coach people. I've done things in sports, but this is at the bigger level. And what's happened is a lot of smaller things have been nipping at the heels of the bigger priority. And that is what I believe God has done to redirect and to refocus me. Because the people development side, to help people discover, develop, and maximize the potential, and to help people to bring change and transformation into their life, to help people gain clarity, to raise their standards and embrace their call to and for more. This is and has always been my heart. And that is where my focus needs to be. Also, this podcast was a great reflection. I started it in January, and 50 plus episodes, here I am, and I'm wrapping up the year on this podcast talking about it. And it's been fun sharing. It's been interesting just putting pieces and snippets out there. And each week, just with no demand, without any real push and pressure, it's just me sharing. It's hitting record and putting something out into the world and just giving it away. And I've done this before with my other podcasts, but this has just been so different. It's been that blank page for me. It's that new possibilities. It's not the ghosting of the past with a slate that leaves like chalkboard and you wipe it and you clean it, but you still see the streaks. You still see the ghosting. This has been a great year of blank page, of sharing and putting new things into the space from fresh perspectives. And then also the launch of, which I'm so excited about, is the Uphill Community, or TUC, TUC, the Uphill Community. In January, so I already started it in a beta run, started in August, and took folks through it. And that is the core of the community. And now January 1, we are launching out the first group with a framework that is going to help people lift their life. And that framework has parts to it that it doesn't matter if you're trying to launch a business, you're trying to close a business, you're trying to find what you're passionate about, you're trying to improve your family, no matter what it is you're doing. And it's not just one thing at a time. You can have several things. You'll be able to use this framework and this tool that I've developed for years that I've spent time working on for the last 3 years, working on the community idea and the aspect, and now it's ready to go. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this community, which kind of leads me to what I kicked off this podcast with. It's talking about pucker up, get ready to kiss your future, because you're going to open the door January the 1, and God willing, your future's coming in. And are you ready? Are you ready for it? Do you have a clear set of goals? Are you focused? And are you looking for that? And I'm talking about beyond New Year's resolutions, because what's going to happen come January 1, gyms are going to be loaded up. People are going to be subscribing to things and doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody's ready to go. People are going to have, I'm going to do newness fever, newness-itis, all this stuff. But then it's kind of like when people get married and after the wedding, and then you really do the life. Or when people have gone through, they pass away or they go through something tragic and the families get all that support. But then over time, everybody just disappears. See, that's when community is so important. And that's why I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to share and wrap up. I'm sharing you my year in review, and I'm going to let you know that my future looks like this as I'm opening the door. And what I'm going to do in the Uphill community is, as I'm walking people through doing this for themselves, I have my priorities. The things that I know in review are this. I'm going to lean in even more in the people development space with companies and organizations that have a tremendous, incredible individuals. For people that is going to be through speaking and through me guiding and coaching and training. But in the people development space with people who want to come in, who understand that we all start on equal footing, that we all need to get better at being human, people that have a hunger and a desire and who recognize that you will never look into the eyes of another human being that does not matter to God, people that don't punish people for looking different or behaving differently, but because people welcome and they believe that people can transform and change. That's what I'm going all in on. Also, the future, when I open the door January 1, it's to get the books out that I'm going to write. There are going to be at least 2 books next year, one children's book and one book that will either be around people and their potential or people and transformation. And then the Uphill community. That is what the future looks like. So in that community, and just so you know, what is the steering for me? So I tell people my nouns are I'm a leader, I'm a communicator, and I'm an artist. And my one-time all word for all things I do is people. But going into this year, what is my word? And so if you're going to do your year better, if you're going to do it, and I mean, really do it well, I'm going to encourage you. Don't do it alone. Even if you have a couple of people, find people who want to do hard work, who want to do the hard best, not the easy good. People that want to climb the hill, get up the hill, the uphill, that uphill challenge, and that uphill climb. Anything worth having is uphill. And you cannot go uphill with downhill habits. That you want to invest in people, not just spend time with people. And there's a difference. People do too much spending time. They go to dinner, they spend time. They do these things, they hang out, they just spend time. I'm talking about investing. We're in a world where investing in people needs to be the priority because everyone's good at spending time. They do it on social media. They do it with clicks and likes and just mindlessly watching things. But I'm talking about growing yourself in order to go make an impact in the world to help other people see change in their lives, to be an inspiration, to also be able to receive from other people, to be open to receive. So for me, here's what I'm telling you that I'm going to do. My focus word for the year is discipline. I'm going to be disciplined mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Those are those areas for me, discipline. Okay? That is what I'm going to do. Discipline is my word in every area of my life. Discipline. And I understand discipline. But here's what I found out about discipline. I've learned how to hack my discipline. And some of you might think about it. We're into hacks. Everybody wants shortcuts. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Process is better always. And the longest distance to get to your dream or goal or your aspirational self is to take a shortcut. and to do hacks. Stop hacking and get back to taking the long road and process. That can accelerate, it can move quicker, but get on the process, the road to process. So my word is discipline. And I'm going to be disciplined. And also I'm going to carry with it some guiding principles for myself. I'm going to really, really, truly lean into developing my trust in my relationship with God. And that's going to help me in my trust relationship with people. And then with that, I'm going to take that trust and I'm going to work to deepen my connections with others, learning new people, discovering new people, being curious and open to people, especially what I'm talking about in the Uphill community. That is one of the areas, plus with the clients that I serve, as well as my neighbor, as well as people, just the stranger, the person that I don't know. But I'm going to trust God to teach me how to be trusting and trustworthy, to be able to connect with other people with one goal in mind, to be able to serve with no strings attached, to serve, to be able to do something that I believe is so important, is to serve mankind, to serve people. Not just get paid, but to serve, to be in service of others. So I'm going to do that in the Uphill community. And so in closing, I just want to share this with you. If you're a person that's saying, how can I be in a community that's supportive, that shares experiences, that offers mutual support, that's invaluable for facing personal and professional challenges, that will help me with personal development tools and resources, that I can develop my skills and gain insights, and that would give me inspiration for self-improvement, that can help me with my goal setting, but also accomplishing those goals, that I could do that in a collaborative environment that would help me get clarity, mutual accountability, that I could also share in success, that I could have partners, people that will go with me, and I would have partners in guidance that is just going to just give me this coaching and mentoring and expertise and some professional advice or support. Like, it will be offered to me. And then knowing that the value that I'm going to get is that environment for growth. I'm going to have resources available to me. I'm going to have, I'm going to be with a place that fosters connections among individuals that have similar aspirations and goals. And then also in a place where I have the potential to increase my chances and seeing the other people that I do life with, their chances to achieve their goals through structured growth and learning, accountability, right? But doing life together. Life happens best in community. If you're looking for that, as I wrap up this podcast, I'm letting you know that's available to any of you. You can simply go to the URL, theuphill.community. And you can join. You can become a part of this community that kicks off January the 1st. But here's what's cool. From New Year's Eve for 48 hours, New Year's Eve forward for 48 hours, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day for 48 hours, the community membership, to join is just half price. It's already inexpensive. It's less than $48 a month or something like that, less than that. But you will be able to come and become a part of a community that will work together around a framework to create lift for your life and to bring change into your life. These are hungry individuals that are already ready to go. It's not too late. And even if you're listening to this podcast and you're going, wait, January 1, 2025, wow, we're 8 months past that. So maybe you're listening to this August 2025. You can still go to this link and you can still become a part of this community. This community continues to grow and continues to bring in members. And that's what we're doing. We're growing this community. People who are like-minded, they're not selling their stuff and pushing their stuff. People that are going to grow. They're focusing on the things that they want to focus on, but they're doing it in community because life happens better in community. Promise you, you will not regret joining. So, what is your year? What are you going to do? Do you need a community? Are you looking for that? Maybe you already have it. If you have a community, go all in. Don't be sitting on the edges of your community. If it's a group that runs, run with them. If you play music with them. If it's at your church, go to church. But if you're looking for something else, look at this one, theuphill.community, theuphill.community, and you can join a community. But no matter what, I want you to reflect on your year. Find a word. I have a free resource for that on my Instagram channel. Click on the bio link. There's a free resource you can download to help you find your one word. At Tim Pecoraro. Real simple. But no matter what you do, I encourage you, find your word, find your focus, and get to work. Do the hard, best, not easy good. Get on the hill. Put in that extra work. If it's worth having, it's up the hill. And the other thing is, don't go alone. Who are the people that you're going to go with? Make sure they're hungry. Make sure they're helpful. Make sure they're supportive. Make sure they challenge you. I want the best for you. And I hope that you will experience the best. So let 2025 be a great year for you. And remember, you're going to open the door and the future is coming in. So here's what I want you to do. Get ready, pucker up, and get ready to kiss your future hello. So until next time, we'll talk soon.